Very warm welcome to day 3 of the CODATA India hands-on workshop on liberation, extraction, and fair reuse of data. Over the past 2 days, we've explored how biodiversity data can be extracted and transformed into machine-readable formats. Today, we turn our focus to repositories, validation, and the meaningful reuse of data, key pillars for sustainable and impactful scientific research. We begin with a session on manual versus automated workflows for conversion, annotation, and retrieval. To lead this session, we have Dr. Felipe Simios, Project and Team Manager at PASI, whose work focuses on transforming scientific literature into accessible and reusable digital knowledge, with a strong emphasis on data standardization and fair practices. I invite Dr. Simios to kindly begin his session.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Today we like the way the schedule is framed right now. We're slightly going to change it because we're going to make it one continuous session with the breaks, the same breaks like the high tea, lunch, etc. But all in all, things are mixed in, so there's no real reason for us to have like half-hour specific activities. They're all part of the same big activity in the end. Okay. I'll quickly do a recap of what we did yesterday, just so everyone is up to speed, and then we'll carry on with the demonstration, okay? And then everyone is invited to do so with your own laptops, okay? Cool. So, guys, what did we do yesterday? First thing we did was we installed the software, Golden Gate Imagine, on our computers. We started it up. Of course, we had some tech issues. We found out later that it was caused because the internet connection was not being helpful. So if you guys are booting it up right now, I suggest to use the local option. So I'll do the same here, just to showcase what we should do. Boot the software. You can either say yes or no here. It doesn't really matter when it asks for web access. That's not the problem. But when you get to this window, please do select the second option, which is Default Imagine Local. That way you will avoid any issue with the connection, okay? So just select it and open it. Okay, I have mine already open here. For those of you that did the start of the extraction yesterday, and saved locally, you can just reopen the IMF that you have saved. So I'll do the same right now. Just save this example here. When you go to File, Open Document, you change the file type to IMF, so image markup files, and then you look for the one that you saved yesterday. This will be really quickly opened by GGI. Just it's already done. I'll give you a couple of minutes for everyone to do, and if you have any questions at this point. Please don't hesitate to call us. Julia and I can come to your computers as well to help out. Okay. For everyone that is watching it remotely, please take notes and message us. We can, maybe I should put on the screen. any doubts that you might have. I know that doing this remotely is a bit harder, but at least we have the option to do so. So please reach out to us through either of these emails or both. All good, Evelyn? Yep. Okay. Let's get back to what we did. So continuing what we did with the file. So we created the structure. So we detected the whole document structure for the file that we opened. We added metadata. We added the bibliography. So we parsed it, connected it to its citations within the publication. And we created the structure for, we did the treatment markup. So now we have the whole document structured with its subsections within it, images marked up, and then the treatment is marked up as well. I don't remember if everyone did the treatment structure itself, so the internal structure of the treatment, which is this. Did everyone do that? Okay. Yeah, okay. So that was the last step that we did yesterday. Okay, so everyone is good. We have the basic structure done. What we need to do now is work on the specific details of the materials that were collected by the authors or examined by the authors. Sometimes it's a collection, something that is already stored in a collection. Sometimes it's newly collected material. This is usually under the materials examined section. So as you can see here, I'm highlighting it in green right now. We want to make that annotated. We want to annotate that, and that will become a unit of its own, bearing all the attributes of that material, so like where it comes from, where it's stored, and sometimes even other information like how it was collected, from what animal, from what plant, because in case of parasites or ectoparasites or even endoparasites, they can have this extra information here. And so we'll do that right now. There's two options. There's more than one pathway to do that, but there's two macros that help you out with that. So if you go to tools, you see in blue, you have either extract material citations or mark material citations. So mark material citations, it's a bit of an older macro. It's not as precise, but it still works. It can be used on occasion. And then you have extract material citations. Extract is a more advanced macro. It it was developed at a later date, and it has a better outcome from it. So just click on it. It will run. It first time that you run it, it might take a little bit to boot up, but it shouldn't take long, especially in this small document. Okay. Remembering we are using zoo notes, not the Pacamia file yet. So what it did now, everyone following up? So one thing you can do if you don't follow up, just raise your hand, okay? So now what did it do? All of this in blue with other colors peppered in is the material citations. And then you ask me, what are these other colors? These are the internal parts of the material citation. So collector name, collection code, country of collection, region of collection, location, the geo coordinates as well. All of this is annotated individually, and they will become, they've already become attributes of said material, okay? For now, it looks like very foggy. There's a lot of things in it. It's really hard to see. What I suggest you guys to do is we break it down step by step. So first thing I'll ask you guys to do is to come at the display control on your on the right side of your screen and click on hide all. Okay, so now all the annotations are gone. You don't see any of them. And we'll turn on just the treatment and the material citations for now, okay? So this is the limited, the delimited treatment in green. Goes all the way from the start of the taxonomic name all the way to the final paragraph here. And it also includes the material citations which we just did, okay, in blue. Now we have much better view of what's going on without too many details. Click on any word within the material citations. You can right click, left click, doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. And you look for edit annotation attributes. And you click on the blue annotation, which is material citations, Bulgaria, etc., etc. Okay. What this will do, it will show you a pop-up screen, a pop-up window, sorry, with all the attributes that have been extracted from that material citation. So again, might be a bit too small for those at the back, but if you look at in your screen, you see exactly the same thing. Again, you have collecting date, collection code, collector name, country, elevation, etc., etc. So again, this is all through the macro. You could have added that manually. You can parse it using another tool, which I'll show you in a couple of minutes. But this is done, so semi-automatically. Okay. When we do batch process runs of several articles, this is all done as well. So it includes all of the steps that we've been doing manually can be done with several articles in one go without us having to go step by step. But of course, there's where we need to look at and see, oh, maybe we need to check if everything that was done by the batch process run is accurate. So we do quality control, but we'll get there at some point, okay? Coming back to the material citation, we'll just close it. You can either click OK and cancel. If you click on any word within the material citations again, you click, depending on the size of your screen, you might need to click more. And I want you guys to look for parse material citations, okay? Which is the one I'm highlighting right now. Then you click on it. Okay. This is the parsing window. Here's where you can edit the attributes visually without needing to type in everything. You can use your mouse to remove, add, and do merging and extensions of previously existing annotations. And here you can find out where errors are usually found. Okay. This is a good example here because there's a lot of variability in terms of geographical, like geopolitical structuring of cities, states, districts, regions, etc., etc. Country is usually the easiest one to do because there's a limited list of named countries, but everything within it is different. In India, in Brazil, in the United States, every single country has their different structure. So how do you tell which one is which? So why? How do I know that Sakar Mountains in Bulgaria is a city or a state? Well, I don't know. That's where people from other countries are always welcome to help and to participate and to collaborate and be part of this massive international collaboration because only only people from their specific regions will know exactly what which means. So, okay. So here it's probably wrong. I believe that Sakar Mountains is a region. I can Google it, of course, and that will be helpful. Usually regions is a bit easier to do, but sometimes it's very tricky. Even the internet won't help me with solving these problems. Sometimes you have something like, oh, farm of Uncle Bob. What is that? Maybe it's just a small part of a city, a very specific location. Okay. What we can do here, you can right click. Now you need to right click on Sakar Mountains. And then you remove the annotation. And then you can select it again. and then you come and click on the annotation that you actually want to annotate there. So I want it to be the collection region of this material. Okay, so now it's highlighted in dark orange. It might change depending on the screen. And I'll do the same here in Manatiska Reka River. I'll remove this municipality annotation and I'll say it's the location where it was collected. Even if it says near, it's there's like a gray area of precision here. Okay. This part of the text now that I'm highlighting is where the sample was collected from. Usually these annotations are not picked up by the software automatically because they are too variable. It's really hard to predict how they look like, but I can just annotate it as collected from. Okay. And there's finally two other things to do here. At light means that it was the collecting method, how the animal was collected. So annotate it as such. You select it again. Everything, you just select and do your action, okay? And finally, there's something here, which is what? This UV is tagged as collection code. Collections are often, or are usually a sequence of capital letters. In botany, you have single letter collections. In zoology, you only have 3 and 4 letter collection codes. So the software tries to get any sequence of, usually more than one sequence of capital letters as collection codes. And eventually it leads to quite a few mistakes because of that, but it's really hard. The way collection codes are structured are not helpful in that sense. We have just to go with it and check whether they are correct or not. In this case, it's saying that UV is a collection code, but is it really? Do you guys think it's a collection code? Anyone? Yes, no? No one? Volunteers? Do you think it's a collection code, UV? You don't think so? Okay. So, yeah, so we need to have context. So how did they write here? At light, between parentheses, white and UV. What do you think UV means here? Ultraviolet, yeah, okay. So this is not a collection code. This looks like a collection code, but it is not. So I just need to remove it. This is the sort of thing that only a human eye will be able to see. Because you could have a collection code called UV. It could be University of Vienna or something like that. Who knows? So unfortunately, with all the technology nowadays, it's impossible to not need us, which is a good thing for us in a way. Okay. So I'll just remove this. You click on it, right click on it, and remove, okay? So it's done. I'll just click OK. I've updated now the information. The attributes that we've seen before are updated. All good so far? Okay. Now we've done what really we needed to do. So it's pretty much ready to go ahead. In some publications, this one doesn't have that. There is one step that we skipped here, which is the treatment citations. But this treatment doesn't have any treatment citations. The authors didn't cite any other author that cited that same species. But we normally would have that step to mark it as a treatment citation, so a citation of that particular taxon. Okay, we're not doing it right now.
Just to know if you are okay with everything that we were explaining yesterday, do you remember the repository that I showed you that's mostly based on treatment citations? You remember that? Synospecies? Yeah. So this is why it's important to pay attention to the extraction, to the data extraction. Yeah. Oh, manual or template. But just remember that we have specific repositories for specific data. And then now you are taking a closer look to the material citation. Again, this is good. I don't think you are going to data extract manually many times in your lives, but now that you know all the parts of the material citation, it's much easier for you to query also. So this is good. When we link this class to the other class that we had yesterday, and we will have a demo of query in repository also after. So this is good to have, keep in mind. The little names, I know it's a lot, but getting used to it.
And again, as I said, I think I said yesterday, the whole point of showing you the full length of the extraction is not that we expect people to do that all the time, because it can be a tiresome work, but it's important to understand what goes through it, or what goes behind the curtains when people come and I just want to help, I want to contribute and want to increase the quality of the data that is already extracted. If you know how that works, then it makes more sense for you to do maybe just the final part of it, which we're going to do right now, okay? So now that I've extracted my treatments, I've extracted material citations, done bibliography, etc., everything, you go to Tools, you go to Quality Control, and you click on Check and Show Document Errors. Please do so right now. So this is the QC, as we call quality control. This is the QC window, okay? This is the flagging system. The software we've developed over time certain parameters that we consider it to be more likely sources of errors. Things like collecting codes, or maybe a material having been collected by too many people, which is a weird thing to happen. Like you wouldn't expect a single insect to be collected by 10 people, but for whatever reason, the software thought it was 10 people. So this is the sort of flag that it picks up, okay? So maybe a taxon being miswritten, lacking authority, something like that. It will try to pick up as many as it can. We'll go ahead and start with one of them. So if you click on original DOI, the first thing it notices is that when we added the metadata, this article doesn't have a DOI. Why does it say so? Because ideally we don't want to create new DOIs for publications that already have DOIs. So let's say this publisher, they published their paper and they added a DOI, so it's minted but for whatever reason we forgot to add it to the metadata. So now the software is saying, like, please have a look. Maybe you forgot it, or maybe it doesn't exist. But if it doesn't exist, please tell me so. In this case, I already know the paper doesn't have a DOI because the publisher doesn't do it. So I'll just click on the error and say it's a false positive. Okay. In cases where you indeed have a DOI, you just go and fetch it and then you add it to the metadata. But in this case, it's false positive. So I just click, the error is gone. All good so far? Sorry, so how did you get that window? I'll go back. Yeah. No, don't worry. That's the whole point. So okay, so you come to Tool, Quality Control, Check and Show Document Errors. Okay. Yeah.
Again, we have all the step-by-step documented in the class that we have online for you. So we have the step-by-step, like frame, print, and then you can, because you would never remember check and show document errors, but it's there for you. So keep with you the class.
Sorry, we're back at this screen. I'll do again. So the DOI, I know it's not really missing. No, it's missing, but it's intended. So I'll just click on false positive. This is gone. And then, so I'll just go through each one of these with you. So we're back at the bibliographic references. You can navigate in this left-hand menu to different types of errors. So it's pointing out to this particular reference here, and is saying that there's a number included in the journal name, which is not a normal thing to have. So I'll click on the reference. So you can navigate between the two windows, okay? They are clickable at the same, both at the same time. I'll click on that particular reference, which is highlighted in red right now. Click on any word, and then I'll look for the parse reference option, okay? This will specifically target that reference so I can reparse it and fix any potential errors. Okay, so I'll click on it. Okay, so this is a book chapter. The author is there, the year is there, the title is there. So far, so good. 3 editors, volume title, and the thing that it's pinpointing is the publisher name or the journal name or whatever you're expecting for this type of publication. And it's saying, look, there's a number in it. That's weird. But let's have a look at it. What it is, this is a report. So this is not properly a journal name. For book chapters and books in general, you might have some different names. Like it could be Publisher 101, the name of the publisher, something like that. So that's really not a problem. That is the actual name of the thing. So that's a false positive again. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so I'll just click OK. I'll go back to my quality control window and just false positive it. So these two errors are exactly the same. Sometimes it happens because they come from different, they're blocking to different destinations. That is done. Just, okay. All good so far? You see many errors. There are 4 levels of errors here. So blockers, criticals, major, and minor. The reason this exists is to help people if they want to correct to the most minute detail. They can do all of these errors, but the key ones to focus on are the ones that are usually highlighted in black, because those are really blocking the publication from the repositories that it will go to. Okay, so those are the ones that you have to bear in mind. Those are the real ones that need to be the focus of what we are doing. Criticals are usually something that it considers as like potential risks of having problems, so we generally leave them on and try to fix them. But anything labeled under majors and minors are usually not a point of contention, okay? Usually it's stuff that is found outside the treatments, but anyway. So what I suggest you guys to do is to tick off majors and minors for now. So just on the menu there, you can just untick them. So you see in illustrations, even though it says there are 7 errors, none of them are blockers or criticals. The reason for that, and this is a good example, is that it's saying that all the figures are not linked to an online illustration, meaning that we've not uploaded these illustrations yet. That's because we haven't finished our extraction. We haven't uploaded it yet. So that all the more reason. It eventually would go out after we've uploaded it to Zenodo, but for now it isn't there, and that's all right. We don't need to fix everything, just what really matters. Okay. So taxon names, there's nothing of import there. This is an interesting error. This is something I came up with a while ago. So sometimes the semi-automated extraction misses certain treatments. And we can sort of like tell the software, like maybe to tell us, like maybe have a look at this one. It looks like a potential treatment. Go back and have a look. In this case, we already know, as Julia showed us over the last 2 days, that that thing that is highlighted right now is not a treatment. Because does anyone remember why it's not a treatment? Any volunteers to answer that? No? You guys remember why it's not a treatment? The Spindus Dejean 1821. Exactly, two subsections. So it has to have, in addition to the nomenclature, to the taxonomy, it has to bear some information about that taxon. Perfect. Thank you. So it's not a treatment, but again, it's a false positive. I already know it's not, so I just click on it. Oh, there's text stream errors. That's worth having a look. So what is it saying right now? So let me move to the side here. With a small screen, it's a little bit harder, but that's something that I will advise everyone if you're willing to do this. If you can, work on a bigger screen. With GGI, it's always better. If you can. If you can, that's fine. It will work anyway. What is it telling me right now? This is a flag that, look, here's an end of a sentence, like an end of a line, a paragraph, and there's no punctuation in it. That seems weird. You should check it out. Let's see if it's correct. What do we have here? Oh, it's an affiliation. Affiliations in publications usually don't end on punctuation. So that's all right. It's a false positive. We don't need to worry about that. Same thing for an email. An email shouldn't end with a punctuation, right? It usually ends with a letter or a number. That's a false positive. What is it showing right now? So it's saying that union appears to be hyphenated, but is not marked as such. Let's look at that. Union hyphen next generation EU. I don't know if union and next generation are supposed to be in one word. I can Google it to try to figure it out. But that's not a massive thing. But what you can do, you come here and you try to fix the error. Okay. So you have either the option of saying that it's actually a hyphenated word. It's split. So the hyphen there was added on purpose because the word is a single word. Okay. If you tell it it's a line broken word, so you're expecting to see the hyphen still there when, let's say, if you have a composite name. I'm trying to think of an example. So there's an author called Heinrich Schaefer. His name has a hyphen in it. It's a composite name. I want that to be kept when it gets exported to all the repositories. So I tell it it's a line broken word. So it's just broken by the line. If the hyphen shouldn't be there, it's just a matter of text editing. The word had to be split because otherwise it wouldn't fit there. Then I tell it it's a hyphenated word. I honestly don't know if in this example, I would need to Google it to see if union is and next generation are all together. I think the hyphen is there on purpose. So I'll just tell it it's a line broken word, okay? And that's it. So the blocker errors are all gone. I've been left with two critical errors. The document does not have DOI, is the same error as we did before. And the document does not have a publication date. That's very important information in taxonomy. Does anyone know why publication date is very important in taxonomy? Exactly, precedence of the name. So if I publish something on March 20 and someone publishes maybe the same information about or similar information about the same species and they create a new name for that, in 2 months' time, I have precedence. That's, I will become the senior synonym in all this discussion when it eventually gets synonymized, okay? So let's add it. Where is the information? Doesn't seem to be present in this document. So what do we do? Oh, there's 2025. That's all we know so far. Sometimes the information is in the website, so I can go back to the publisher's website or the journal's website and look for the information. Quite often, publishers don't provide a precise date, which is, in my opinion, bad practice, but it is what it is. So what we normally do is if you know the date, you add it. If you don't know, try to figure it out. Do the best as you can. Sometimes you only know the month. So a good practice to do is to, I know the month. So at the very least, it's at the last day of the month. It's definitely not the month after. So let's say it was, I know it was April 2025. So just do 2025. This is all year, month, and date, okay? I'll do April 2025, and then I'll do 30. So no, I'm just as an example. I don't know if it's from April because I don't know. It's just I'm showcasing an example of what I would do normally. Okay, because unless someone knows exactly the date, which is lost in time sometimes, that's all you can do. Okay, if you don't know the month, even the month you know, what's the date that you would probably put then, because you don't know. You only know the year. What's the most likely date that you know for sure it's at least that, the last day of the year? Yeah, so you do that, 31st of December, okay? But again, this is a very specific thing. It's we're trying here to help the data, but if it eventually comes to a discussion on who has precedence, that's up to the nomenclatorial codes to sort it out. It's not up to us, but well, it is what it is, okay? So I'll not add the dates now because I'm not sure. Anyway, I would need to Google it. I'll just leave it as it is. I don't need false positive. I can just close the window. And that's it. Your publication is done. But yeah, definitely that's a good thing. So, but your extraction is done. Okay, you can now upload it to treatment bank, and then it will go to the repositories if you did your job properly. With one exception, that for people that are not certificated yet, as Julia mentioned yesterday, they need to be approved. So you don't need to click on this, okay, because you will not have the credentials to that. But I can come in and approve your document. I can open the document that you did, that you uploaded to the server. I'll open it, I'll check it, and then I'll approve it. Okay. And Julia mentioned now something to me that it's key. If you go to edit, and then you go to select the nodal licenses, please click on that. This will open the menu where you can select the license with which the publisher, that the publisher assigned to the publication, which depending on which one you assign, you will make it open when it's uploaded to Zenodo. If you leave it as it is, when you see the publication on Zenodo on the biodiversity literature repository, it will be closed. So if you have an article that you know it's closed access, you leave it as it is, okay? But if you know that it's, for instance, Creative Commons International, you just add this. Now when it gets uploaded to Zenodo, it will be open. Everyone will be able to see the whole content of the publication. All good? If the document is closed access, you don't change it, you leave it as it is. And when you open on Zenodo, you have the metadata, you have the information that is supposed to be open according to all we've discussed over the last 2 days. But the document, the PDF, will not be accessible. Okay, it will have a DOI. It will not be breaking any laws, basically. But if you that practice is to make something open which shouldn't be open. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Otherwise, you might get in trouble with the publisher. Okay.
I just remember, Felipe, to show you this because this is a very important part when we are talking about licenses and preserving the license. So you should ask, oh, how do you do that? If you liberate data, how do you do that? How do you tell the system that this paper is closed, this publication is closed or not? So this is the way. There is a specific step in the extraction. Of course, when we have massive extractions of publications with PDFs, with templates that Felipe will show you after, then Felipe define in the template, this journal is open access, has this license, or this journal is closed access. But if you are doing one by one, like manual extraction, you have to go there and then you say GGI how to do it, what's being open or not. But this is, I know that it's something that you always think, and if it's closed, how is this? So when we are doing the practice after in repository, we can uh, open access and closed access document in GGI, in Zenodo, in Treatment Bank, in GB. Then you see what will appears there and what's not appearing there. Oh, it's closed. Then I can't see the paper, but I can see the treatment. And is it in GB also? Is it so we can play with it? Then it will be clearer for you. But just to be very clear that there is a specific step to define the license and to preserve the license that was defined by the journal. I constantly forget that step in courses, and then oh no, I have to go back and say, yeah, this is the point. Because everybody asks us a lot about that. If it's closed, if it's not. So this is the step, the key step.
So you notice there's another couple of fields there. So sometimes you can change it right now, but sometimes the publication is closed, but you know it will be open in about a year or two. So you can actually set a date, like a number of days actually for the embargo to fall. So sometimes you do. I've seen a few examples where I just put 2 years of embargo, and the system will automatically make it open into the 2 years. So that's a good thing. And also the other two fields here, you don't need to worry about them too much. But the first one is license for extracted figures. This is something that has changed recently. That the interpretation of the law, the Swiss law, has changed a little bit. Is that initially, all the figures were made open, even from closed access journals. But the most recent interpretation is that that's not the case. So now, for closed access journals, only the treatments are open. Okay, the figures not anymore. So you will find journals that articles that we uploaded a few years ago that they will have the figures all open, but that's not the case anymore for everything. Okay. Treatments, by default, they are always open. So here it says default, that says it's being open and you'll be able to access it anywhere. Okay. So we've done the extraction. You guys can save it. Just save document. Go to file and save document. You're done. We can have a look later at some point during the day. You can bring me your laptops, or I can go. Either of us can go to you and you see, did I do this correctly? Did I do this incorrectly? So we'll go through that. That's one done. I invite you to try to repeat the steps on the second PDF that we opened. But in the meantime, I want to show you what the template looks like. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So high tea time. Yeah, we'll come right back. Okay. Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, perfect time. Yeah. I didn't even pay attention to the time.
Is that okay? All right.
Okay, perfect.
So we do have more online people today because of some Delhi-based or maybe national
Okay.
holiday.
No, but most of the people are here. I just wasn't sure how
Yes.
many people.
But there are people in the room who are personally doing this together
Yeah.
with you. So we will continue it in this fashion the entire day. I was thinking we could move to the boardroom because there are fewer people. But whoever I'm asking is saying they're okay, stable. Let's not move.
Yeah.
Let's continue here. the recording is also happening.
Okay,
So it's
perfect.
up to you.
Yeah, we'll have tea and we'll rejoin in a few minutes. Okay,
Yes, and
everyone?
we can still have questions. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. No, please. If you're really willing to do that, please grab any papers that you think. Just one thing I suggest: avoid getting bigger papers. Like if they are too big, avoid doing it right now because it might be too heavy on your PC. Are you including the minor and major errors? Don't count them. Maybe if one of the steps, yeah, if you did one of the steps wrongly or you did differently than I did, you will get a different number of errors for sure because the structure will be different, and that's fine. That's all part of the exercise. Don't worry about that. But yeah.
And you must know that their errors are kind of the same, but they will vary a lot when you are beginning. So if you open a different document and say, oh, this they haven't told me about this error, because there are many.
And one
So
thing, yeah, you have to bear in mind, even though it's called error, it's not an actual error. It's a potential error.
yeah,
Okay, because that's something that even in the office, like some people struggled a lot over 2 years. I kept telling them, no, there's nothing wrong, but you need to check it and tell it. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. It's a flag. It's thinking like, look at this. Maybe there's an error, but people were like, oh, but where is the error? I can't find it because there isn't any. Okay, that's when you click false positive. Any other questions before we go to tea? Okay, cool. So let's go to tea. We'll rejoin in a bit.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your tea. We will now continue with our session with Dr. Felipe and Dr. Julia Giora.
Thank you very much. I'm just putting this here on the screen right now because I was talking to people outside, and then I realized that I should tell everyone that you can follow us on Instagram. There is this profile that every day or almost every day uploads parts of some treatments that we publish. So that we upload to the treatment bank, and then you can see nice photos of new species recently described. All the links will have all of the uploads will have the links to the treatments and the DOIs as well. But yeah, it's a nice profile to follow if you're interested. Okay, I'll not click on anything because probably because I'm not logged in, it will complain. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, we can go back to Golden Gate. Shall we do? So some people ask whether you guys can do your own publications. Yes, please feel free to do. What I'm going to do right now is run a second article. So I'm going to do Pecamia now. I'll do it a little bit faster because we've done that once. Let's do it again just to quickly go through and see different issues that might arise from that, okay? Good. So, okay, I have the PDF open. If you guys have that open, you can follow my lead. One thing I like to do is turn on the display control, the workflow, the blocks, images, and paragraphs. And then I'll run detect document structure, which is the first tool. So now my document, the base structure of my document is made. One thing is also always good to do is have a look, see if anything weird happened. Oh, here we have one thing weird that has happened. It has considered the caption as being part of the whole figure. I really don't want that. I want the caption to be separate. Image is one thing, caption is another. So what I'm going to do is I'll remove the image. I'll mark the caption as it is. So I'll just draw a bounding box around it. When I release the mouse, it will show me that I can mark it as a caption. So now the macro has marked everything in the text and within that bounding box as a caption. And I can mark the image. I'll have to zoom out a little bit. Mark the image. So another bounding box around the image, and then I mark the image. So this caption will automatically have imported the coordinates from that image because it knows it's right above it. So now it's the caption is tied to that image and not part of it, which is a different thing. Okay. So I'll keep looking at my document structure, see if there's anything weird. Again, another image with a problem. I can do this separately, like I can do mark caption first and then it automatically fixes the image. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I showed you the individual steps first. Let's see if there's anything wrong. More or less everything correct. I did spot something that I might want to break down. So you see here, we have a genus and there's an information. It's saying what is its type species, but everything has been read as being a part of the same paragraph. I don't want that. I want these two lines to be different paragraphs. So what I can do is draw, there's two ways to do this, okay? That's the more manual way to do that, which you draw a bounding box within the line that you want to split. And then you try to look for a split paragraph, but this time it doesn't work. It didn't work. So what I can do is click on a blank space within the box and go to revise block paragraph. Then I can tell you like make each line a separate paragraph. So this pop-up window allows me to tell the software what's the pattern of that particular paragraph. If it's the lines are indented, if they're left aligned, center aligned, right aligned, justified, etc. So, but for this case, I just want to break them down. So now there are two different paragraphs. So there are two different pieces of information. And I want to do the same here because I don't want the figure citations to be within the same paragraph as the name of the species, okay? Also here now, split paragraph region did appear when I drew the bounding box. Again, as I said, I'm going a little bit faster this time because we've done most of it before. There are different new steps, but then please pause and ask me about them, okay? Yeah, no, no, for sure, yeah. No, yeah, everyone has that PDF, so they will get exactly the same thing. So they can try, and probably some people will make it in one go. Others will like, I can't make it work. So then again, Julia and I are here. When one of us is talking, the other one can just come down and talk to you guys. So again, please don't hesitate to call us again. Okay. But yeah, now I fixed everything within my document structure that I wanted. I'll proceed to do the document metadata. So this one has already added everything to the metadata when I clicked on add document metadata. I'm not sure if you guys are going to get it. Maybe not. I'm not sure. You need to remember when people are not logged in, if they pull the information. I think they do, yeah. Because the table, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes we don't remember a few things because we're so used to doing it the way we do the production on a daily basis that we end up forgetting how it works on the basic level. Yep.
It's one thing because yesterday I had a question. Just remember that I had a question in the IMF format. The IMF, as I was taught in class, it's a format where you preserve the PDF, but it's like you have another paper. I don't know the name, but in English of the paper, you have like that's very thin, and you have on the top of the other paper, and you can see through it, but you can write on it. So this is the IMF. You are annotating, you are writing things on the top of the PDF, but the PDF is preserved. So this is something that yesterday I had this question. Oh yeah, then I will save my document and everything that I've done, all the annotations will be there. Yeah. Oh yeah, because we are annotating, it's in the PDF right now. No, it's not in the PDF. It's in the IMF. So if I open the PDF, we haven't changed thing.
Yeah, it's not being screenshot. Oh,
But on the IMF, I will have preserved all the annotations. So just for the ones that are confused about the formats, I know it's new for almost everybody. So this is the format and this is the way it is, because then you can like make notes on the PDF without altering it.
and now we just realized that the screen was not being shared with the people that are watching remotely. So sorry about that, everyone at home, but yeah, well, please again send us an email and or reach out to someone that you know here in the audience to help us go through it. Okay. Anyone has a guess on why the document metadata is already filled this time instead of me having to fill it manually? Any guesses? Nope. Any idea? Nita? Why do you think so? This is the metadata information, okay? Author names, publisher name, etc. Why is it filled? Because I just opened this document, and how does it know that what is the publication date, what is the journal name? But that didn't happen for the other one. You weren't here, but Yes, the journal style is like that. You're on the right track. But there is a template for that. I made a template for that. So yes, every new layout of a journal. So exactly. Doesn't take that long. I can make, no, it's not a trivial thing. That so, no,
But
it's
if you-
definitely not trivial.
Yeah, if you are doing an individual extraction of a paper that there's no template, no problem, as we did yesterday. Now you know how to do it. You go there and you extract data, or if you have the DOI, you just go to the DOI and go search, and then you fill it. Or, yeah, you fix it. Yeah. But if you have the template, but it's not a, I need to have the template to have the metadata. No, you don't.
You don't need that. Yeah.
You don't.
The template makes our lives easier, faster. That's the tricky part. So templates are fastly done because I've been doing them for a while, but it's practice. But like I can really make one in 20 minutes. Like yeah, that's as fast as it can be done. But because I have experience with that, it's not a yeah. Well, that the template yes reduces the amount of errors throughout the document. Yeah. So
But you still have errors.
anything, pretty much everything that you do, all the steps, if you have a template behind it, they will be better done. Yeah, because the software itself has like a generic template built in within it. So it will try its best to match with everything, but it depends. Because some journals are sort of like follow a blueprint of how things normally are, but others are just the wild things. It will try its best, but it will probably make a mess. But yeah, there's a template built behind that. I'll show you templates later. You don't need to do that. Don't worry. Currently, I'm the only one doing that, even within Plazi, because it requires there's one thing that you need to know to build templates. You need to know how to look for patterns, and that's not a simple thing to do sometimes, because you need to look this the author name is a little bit different from one journal to the other. Like, do the font sizes are they kept in the same journal? Does the graphic editor of that journal keep the font sizes precise every single publication? Sometimes they don't. It can be a nightmare sometimes. You do the best you can. Sometimes you have to leave it as blank, and then people have to edit manually because there is no way of telling the software that this bit here is different than this bit here. How do you tell that this part of the text is different from that one? Sometimes it's clear. Like in this case, you see that the affiliations use a very small font size. So it's easier to tell that that's an affiliation. But sometimes it has exactly the same font size as an authority name. How do you tell the software that that's different? It's really hard to do so. So even with templates, there are limitations, but templates definitely massively help us out, okay? So that's what happened. It pulled information from, to add to the document metadata, it pulled information from the template using it as a basis to add the metadata. But there is an error there. So I'll quickly go back to the author names. So you see it's Tronk Van Tam and David Hill. The use of and, the word and is tricky for authority names, for author names actually, for the authors of the publications, because that can easily be confused with an actual name. It could be someone called Tronk Van Tam and Hill. So it could be his name. So that's another level of complexity to using the templates and adding the document metadata through it. So what happened here is that it considered everything as one single name. I don't want that. I want them to have different authorities. So within the get metadata pop-up window, if you guys click on edit authors, you can manually add the authorities and the affiliations, emails, LSIDs, ORCIDs, and URLs for each of the authors. Sometimes if the information is not there, for instance, it's your own publication, you can add your work ID if you know that for that. But please, if in the future, if you're collaborating with us, try to do it for your own stuff, not for others because you could make mistakes. But for your own stuff, you're welcome to do that. If your paper doesn't have the ARC ID in it, minted in, you can do it manually. But anyway, I digress. So what I want to do here is to fix the authority. So this first author, I know he's not Hugh, Trong Van Tam, and David E. So what I'll do here, I guess Van Tam should be the full surname. I'm not used to that type of surname. And I'll add a second author. Okay, I'll close this window. So now it says that the authors of these papers separated by, how do you call that? No, it's the ampersand, sorry. Yeah, no, yeah, ampersand. Yeah, I was trying to remember what ampersand, yeah. Ampersand is the separator between the authors here. So yeah, so it, oh yeah. There is an alternative as well. I'll just click OK here. Okay, so see, there's another error. Ooh, let's see what's going on. So even the template, again, has some errors. It picked up the full stop here before the issue number. So the issue number is actually 1. I want to remove. So now I can validate it. The document metadata is valid, and I'll click OK. What Julia mentioned right now is that I can sometimes select the text, like for instance, this author name, and there is this option called use in metadata. I can add that to whatever field in the metadata that I want. So if you're, oh yeah, we've dealt with publications that have 2 pages of authors. Yeah. That's one common request that we've been getting because affiliations have been historically tricky to template and to get because that varies even more than anything else. Because within the same publication type, you have a publication that uses superscript and others that don't. Yeah, so it can be a nightmare. So, but we do get a lot of requests from the community like, look, this is my paper. Why is my affiliation not mentioned? It's not on GBIF now because of that. So we got a lot of requests from India. Actually, one of our collaborators here from India, so we go ahead and fix it. That's one thing. We have our community GitHub. We mentioned it on the first day. Julia will show it later. That you can simply go there, create a ticket, and we can fix stuff. Yeah, it's easy for us to do that. It's part of the community, so depends. But because usually what happens is that someone will do a lot of them in one go, but on average 1 or 2 a day. Yeah, 1 or 2 a day, maybe something.
Yeah, it depends. There is, we have always somebody in charge. During a week, it's every week.
There's always,
it's
yeah.
different. Yeah. So there are some weeks that we don't have any requests, and the others we have like every day. Or now we have a close relationship with the Colombian GB community. So they have done data sets of all the wrong affiliation or wrong higher taxon association to this. And then usually on Friday, they just because they're very happy that you're finishing your week without any request, on Friday you have the girls from Colombia. Hi guys.
Yeah, and sometimes what some people do is that they find a series of problems, a series of errors, and they report in one go, and that's yeah, you spend some time working on that. But again, if you find anything, please report to us.
We figure out that here for the Indian community, it's been very important, the affiliation to the author. We have one collaborator that always go there in the community, in GitHub community, and ask things like that. And I met him in the US last year, and he said, oh, the authors want to see all the affiliation, and then this is very important, so it's a good thing to you to know how to fix it very fast.
So yeah, now that I did exactly that, I use the, yeah, okay. Okay, so I've added the document metadata. Now I can proceed to the references. You remember that? Okay, there's something wrong. Not getting the first one right, so I'll go ahead and fix it. So these are the authors. And this is the title. And this is the book. So I've now corrected the information regarding this book. Oh, there's something wrong here. Wow, I need to fix that, the whole thing. So one thing you can do is you can flag this to be fixed at a later point as well. So on the bottom left corner, you have like annotation boundary errors, for instance. You can leave it like that. You can even tell it, oh, that's not a bibliographic reference. I could fix it later. So I'll mark it as having annotation boundaries, and I'll fix it later. Okay. So this one has another problem as well. I'll just keep doing that. You guys can keep doing it again. We are at a second stage right now where we can do it separately. That's why I'm doing it faster. Okay. Again, all of this have annotation. I'll need to go back and look at them individually. So this references have a very particular way of being done. So again, this is a good example to showcase how it can vary so much between publications. So you see, this is the author of the paper, and then the two authors, and then it provides an error, and then suddenly it repeats the authors. Why they did so, I have no idea. But this complicates the matters for the template or the software to capture it properly. Another example of how much quality control by a human being is important. It would be very hard to tell the software, like, for this exception, things are different. How do you know?
And another example of rethinking publications, rethink the way we are publishing. Why an editor creates something that the machine cannot read? So why to do that? Some very simple things in editing a journal, in the rules of the journals, can make your article accessible or inaccessible. So as editors, we have to think about it, but also as authors, we have the power to publish wherever we want. So we have to take care now that you know that the future, the present, but the future will be AI readable. Just go to the rules, the editors, the rules of the journal, and then pick the journal that fits better for this idea and make contact with the editor and make some complaints about it. Something like that could ruin the entire paper to go to Zenodo and GB. If we have these problems, the template will run the paper, run the extraction, but then everything will be in treatment bank, but it's not going to Zenodo and GB. We have one of the major journals for neotropical ecologists, and all the papers are not in Zenodo and GB just because they have a difficult bibliographic reference. So the gatekeeper says, this is wrong, this is critical, this is a blocker error, and it's not going. So why, as an editor, not to fix it? So this is very, very good and very important for us and for you that now you know, and we can start discussing these things also, not to extract data, but how to publish data.
So now I'll go to mark bibliographic citations, remembering this is when we connect the references to its citations within the text. Generally, that's done pretty accurately, so no sweat here. And then we proceed on to mark taxonames. That's a key step. The macro will run and mark all the taxonomic names that it finds throughout the text. We can check a few of them. So it seems to have worked. One thing I'll do to help us visualize it, I'll hide all the annotations first and then turn on just the taxonomic names. So as you can see, especially the key ones are all marked properly. And now we can, if you want, you can have a look at their attributes, see if everything is as it should be. Important ones are the new species one. It interprets the information from it being a new species as the authority being the authors that you've already assigned to the metadata. That's one point to be careful about, is when the authors of the paper are not necessarily all the authors that describe the species. You can have sometimes 6 authors in one publication and only 2 of them actually describe the species. That will be individually labeled right now, right next to the name. And hopefully it will all work out, but sometimes it's worth checking whether it's been properly imported into the attributes.
Felipe, just leave it open, the attributes. Yeah, another thing that's very nice to see here, one thing that's important to check, especially in the nomenclature, just in the nomenclature section of the treatment, you have to do that. Check the higher taxonomy of the taxon that's there, because it happens sometimes. We can have, now we are talking about a spider, but the same name of the spider could be the name of a species, a plant species. It happens, it's not so rare. And then GGI, now you know that GGI tried to figure out the higher taxonomy, the higher taxon of the treatment through the paper or through GB backbone. So if you have the same name for a plant and a spider, it can be wrong. And again, this is not rare. So this is one of the best. It is the mostly the most common report in our community to fix is, this is a spider referred as a plant or something like that. So, and now you know how to fix it. You open the attributes of the nomenclature, the taxonomic name, and you just fix there. You click on the family and then you can write the right attributes there. But so this is very important for you when you are extracting data, and when you find something wrong. And again, we are part of the thing we are talking today. It's about this, the community and quality control and curation of data. When we are talking about errors that are coming from the extractions, it's not something that we are creating. No. But this is the error that comes. Lack of affiliation, a wrong affiliation in a wrong locality, because we Felipe showed you the name of the locality. We didn't know it was a river farm or higher taxonomy. Higher taxonomy occurs because of that. And then now you know how to fix it.
So Julia will try to help you out to see what's going on. This is the sort of thing you need to have a closer look to try to figure out what's going on. Okay, so yeah, you've seen the attributes. One thing I want to highlight here quickly is that you see there are some question marks here. This, if you click on it and then you go to edit font, you see that's the male symbol and the female symbol. This is just a tricky part of text visualization, especially with the male symbol more than with the female symbol, because female symbol is usually the same thing. It's downward, so it's the circle with a cross right beneath it. It's like usually very straight, so there is not a big problem. But the male symbol can vary, so there you can see many angles from like 0 to 90 of the position of the arrow. So that can be tricky sometimes for the software to get accurately, but also it sometimes doesn't show it properly in the text, but it's being correctly interpreted. So that's not a big deal. It's just a matter of visualization, okay? Yeah, okay. So now we've done the taxonomic names. We can, I'll turn on the heading system here. So when we did the document structuring at the start, it only assigned headings to a few of the what would be the actual headings of the areas of the text. So like for acknowledgements and references, it did so. There's no introduction heading written here, so it didn't find it. But one thing I really wanted it to do is to have a heading for the genus and the species here. So what do I do? There's two options. Either I carry on and do the marking of treatments and I'll manually assign that. What I can do is annotate these areas as headings. So I'm doing this with the two of them. And I can edit their levels. So level, so here, this is actually a good thing. Yeah, the screen share stopped again. Hopefully it's working now. Is it working right now? Yeah, okay. So this is the attribute window. That's actually something important to highlight to you. There's always two fields. The first one is the attribute proper, and then the value of the attribute. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding an attribute to this annotation because it lacks any attributes. This is the heading. I'm editing its attributes, so I'm adding a level to that. What are levels for headings is the layer of which the software will interpret it as being where it is within the text structure. So introduction is level 1, materials and methods is level 1. So the main headings, try to think of when you are editing text in Word or any text editor. You want to have your headings like that. This is where my introduction is. This is my metadata, etc., etc. It's usually level heading 1. The treatments are in level heading 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'll make these two headings as being level 2. This will help me when I mark the treatments. You'll see in a bit. I'll do the same for this one. Okay. So now that I have these headings marked up, remember that yesterday I showed you that there were two ways of marking treatments. This is a key step, guys, please. Bear this in mind. So mark treatments is the more manual tool. So you need to go through the whole text, read it, and tell like where each section starts. But if I have these headings properly marked up, It will help the software understand where treatment starts and where introduction starts, where references start. So what it will do right now, I told it that here there's a heading level 2 of level 2 with a taxonomic name within it. So it will interpret it as the start of a treatment. I'll click on it. So see what it did now. Everything up to this heading here is considered as other subsections. So it's text, so it doesn't know it's an introduction because the journal doesn't have an introduction heading, but it knows it's not a treatment. There was not a heading with a taxonomic name in it. But from here on, it starts to try to do that. Okay. Here it clearly worked. This one is marked as a treatment. This one didn't work. It probably think it's not enough information to consider it as a treatment. But do you guys think that? Do you guys think this is a treatment? And you were. No. So, come again. This one actually can be a treatment, yeah, because there is information about the taxon. So yeah. So normally, what you normally see here, you have this treatment and just forget this line, okay? Don't consider it. You have just a line with the genus name. That's not a treatment because you need the nomenclature and something else. But here, it's actually providing me with some extra information. What is the type species of that genus? Yeah, so it's giving me some details. I can make that as a treatment because people will be interested in finding this information out. They want to know, like, what are the, sometimes you just have a taxon list. What are all the species of that particular genus? That is useful information because sometimes we are not dealing with these other species, which is the case here. Evenus tener is not being talked about here. We are just talking about this species right now, the new one that's being newly described. But I'm also, as a researcher, I'm also doing my job in providing more information on the taxon, which I already know. And I'll actually take this moment just to, if I can, if you got everyone here, especially those that haven't dealt with taxonomy before, can come out of here with two recommendations that I can give you guys is try to be as informative as you can in terms of the taxonomy of the taxa you're dealing with. If you're doing genetics, please do tell, using in the introduction or even in the abstract sometimes, like, to what family does that animal or plant belongs to? Write the authority correctly. That helps so much, even in terms for AI. Julia mentioned homonyms a few minutes ago. If I, as a researcher, tell you that this particular taxon is a plant from the family Brassicacea or whatever, if I tell you that, no one will be worried that their AI made a mistake when reading the document. You see, if I don't tell them, it might think that a beetle and a plant are the same thing, because I'm not telling it. I'm just giving a random name. Oh, it's stick bug, whatever. Oh, well, exactly. Yeah, we struggle a lot sometimes. We want to fill in the higher taxonomy, and we got a genetics paper, for instance, and there is no mention whatsoever what the family is that it belongs to, or so it's really hard. And sometimes the authority is not mentioned. Please do so. Please keep the authority of a name, of a taxonomic name, it's vital to the name of the taxon. Again, I did say that on the first day. This bit, without the authority name, doesn't mean a lot. Okay? Sorry for the quick parenthesis here, but I'm really an advocate for people to do this properly to help everyone. This helps everyone, literally. Okay? And with the We don't have character limitations in our publications anymore nowadays, at least for the most part. That was understandable maybe 200 years ago, where you wanted to save space when publishing. But nowadays, you just add the information. Most journals won't complain about that. Anyway, coming back to it. I want to mark this as a treatment. I want to remove the subsection that is right here blocking my treatment, so I'll split it out of the rest of the text. I don't want this subsection to be here, and I'll manually annotate this treatment here, and I'll create a structure for it. This has the nomenclature, as we all are well aware of, and it has a type taxon. So I'm going to look for type taxon here. So this is a treatment with a nomenclature and a type taxon subset section. What about the second treatment? It has done automatically the splitting of internal division, but I need to fix it because it usually doesn't do it fully correctly because, again, too much variability. So what I'm going to do now is fix. Reference group is where all the citations are. The materials examined, so that's quite obvious. Here is the etymology and the description of the taxon. You notice that the figures are labeled as description because they are on a looser interpretation of it. They are a description of the taxon as well. Okay. And here you have the distribution. So that's the structure of this treatment. I'll click OK. Now it's updated. What is left to do? Does anyone remember what the next step is? That's a key one as well. We've done the structure, we've done metadata, we've done treatments. What's the other key information that people will want to see? No, we've done that. Yeah, there's one thing. Right? No, figures is done already. There's one thing, it's right in front of us. The materials, the specimens, because they are what makes everything. Like without usually specimens, we don't have a lot of reason to be doing what we are doing, right? So
But one tip is you can go to tools and then you have the list. Just go to the list.
if you don't remember exactly what you need to do, just follow the
Follow the
sequence of.
Then you don't forget anything.
We were here right now doing treatments. We need to do treatments, but no, actually we can try to do treatment citations. There is a problem here though. Treatment citations require one piece of information that is missing from this particular publication. They cited the specific names with the author and the year where they cited this specimen, the species, but they did not add the page number, because the idea behind treatment citations is that you can accurately pinpoint where the citation came from. So it usually needs the number as well, so the page number, which is not here, so we can't do it right now, okay? But we'll go ahead and do the material citations. Remember, tools, you can extract material citations. It will do its best to split it properly. What happened here? What the authors did was they described they wrote down the information regarding both the holotype and the two paratypes, one female and one male, all in one go. This is all right-ish. There is a tendency to have every single one individually described, so there is no confusion. So ideally, people should avoid using IBID, C above, etc., because that can create a lot of problems, even for AI. But in this particular case, it's sort of all right. But we usually want holotypes, especially, to be separate from their counterparts. So we want a holotype to be a single unit, a single annotation. We can do it here. We can split it. one thing I'll do first is, again, I'll remove all the annotations here to make it better for us to see. I'll even zoom in a little bit. So what we have here is one single annotation going all the way from one email or male holotype all the way to Vietnam. And there is the second annotation talking about the specimens. But this really is not another material. It's actually information about this one, so I can actually merge this or even leave this information out, but in this case I want to merge it. But the second material citation has some information that I might be wrong. So what I'm going to do is remove the second annotation, and I will actually extend the first one to cover this area. So I have one single annotation for the whole lot with their attributes. But there's a problem here. We have holotypes and we have paratypes mixed in between. And I can only have one type status for each material citation. So you see holotype overtakes it because it's the first one that is mentioned. So the information on the paratypes is lost. How do I fix that? I'll split them. There's a downside and an upside. An upside. I'm splitting them here. So the information on the holotype will have all the attributes that are here. They will have exactly the same attributes, but the verbatim information will be lost. So when you go into the on treatment bank or GBIF, you see that the actual text for this material citations is one holotype only. That's all the text. All the other information will not be available there, which is really annoying. But there is no way for us at this point in time to have the verbatim information replicated to both of them. And that's a factor caused by the way the text is explicited within the paper. Again, that's why I make the case. Try to be as descriptive as you possibly can for each individual material, especially and mostly above all, the holotype. This should bear all the information for itself, okay? I need to fix a few things now. This holotype, hold on, let me just see which symbol. So yeah, it's male. So I'm going to edit the attributes for this material citation. I'll reduce the specimen count, so it's only one. Remove the female count and make it one male. This is the holotype now. It has its proper attributes. And for the paratypes, I want to fix it. So it's only one male, two in total, and those are paratypes. Okay, so now it's done. I've done all my material citations. I've done my treatments, done my bibliography. One thing was missing. The last thing we did in the other publication before the quality control. Does anyone remember what it was? Just an afterthought that we had, but we need to talk about it. Is this the Zenodo licenses, whether it's a closed or access paper? Sorry? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Again, the template can help with us with that. This is already filled because the journal has their licenses on their website. So I went there, I grabbed it, and I told the template, look, these are the licenses they use. So when you upload any paper from this journal, it will be open because the template already knows. It should be open on Zenodo. Okay? If it's closed, I would always tell it, no, keep it closed. And now I can move on to tools, quality control, and check and show document errors. So we're back at the document error screen. All good so far? Are people having trouble? Okay, no. I can start fixing the errors. small screen is always tricky. I'll do it fast. I'll speak as I do it, but please stop me if you need to. So text errors usually is the one that I do first because they are structural. So this is false positive. It's complaining that paragraph starts with lowercase letter, which is fine. It ends with a number without a punctuation, which we know it's fine. Same thing here. It's complaining about this parenthesis, which is fine. Okay, here's an interesting one. In this caption, it's complaining that the end of this line is being treated as a paragraph when it should not. I can just merge the paragraphs here, and now the error is gone because that was indeed an error. Okay, not a false positive. Text errors are done. I'll look at the other ones. So caption, figure 1 is not attached to, is not assigned to its caption. So I'll do it now. I click on the figure, click on assign caption, and then click on the caption. So now it's assigned. They're both connected right now. Taxon has suspicious tokens. That's specifically for, it happens every now and then, but it's a bit rare, is that some letters are expected to be misinterpreted. Sometimes it's just a matter of us checking if the name is correct, which is in this case. So the document does not have a DOI. It doesn't have a DOI, not a case. And finally, the final error that I need to see is, this is one of the trickiest ones. It says material citation boundaries are broken. It can mean a lot of things. Has two country names, has two type statuses, has two region names. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. In this case, I already know it's accurate because we had a careful look at it. But you just need to pay attention to what's on your screen and find out if there's something that strikes your eye as being weird. In this particular case, it's complaining because there's two mentions of the word paratype. So it's like, maybe those are supposed to be split. We don't need to split them because paratypes can be bundled into one material citation. That's not a problem. So false positive. That's it. We're done. That's the second extraction we've done. Yeah, again, as I said, I went through this one quickly, but we've done that previously in the first one. Julia? Yeah, your turn now. Oh yeah, I'll try to open it. I'll try to open it a scan document right now. It might take a little bit longer. Really, no, you can recognize old text. Of course, the older and the yeah, no, we can do scanned. That's the idea. We're going to show one right now. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, that's messy. Yeah. So for those at home, Dr. Gitanjali is asking about mixed files where you have both scanned parts and non-scanned part, digital born ones. Those are trickier. It usually favors the majority within the document. So if it's one page scanned, it will treat the rest as born digital and that one as an image. That tends to happen. I don't think I've seen one where it's like, yeah, I wouldn't consider that as a serious concern. Maybe I've not been exposed to more examples. Yeah, normally the scanned parts are treated as images, which yes, it's not a great thing. It's hard.